All right, guys, I hope you're doing great today. This is our chapter number 4 of our AZ-900 fundamentals course. And today, this would be actually a lab. And we are going to see how Azure Portal looks like. So let's get started. And before we get started, make sure that you subscribe DevOps Molvi. And what is actually an Azure portal? So this is a simple definition of Azure portal that it is a unified management console to build and run resources in the cloud. All right. So if you want to run virtual machines, if you want to run Azure Kubernetes service or Azure container instances or any service for AI, for data, for analytics, how can possibly you interact with Azure? So there are actually a couple of ways that we can use to build our resources on Azure. One of the most frequent ways of interacting with Azure is to use Azure Portal. I will also mention other ways as well. So Azure Portal is a UI, a user interface, and honestly saying that it is a fantastic user interface by Azure so that we can build, we can manage, we can create our resources, our accounts on Azure. So that's what Azure Portal is used for. And the other ways to interact with Azure are also, I will mention those. The one is Azure Portal, the others are Azure CLI, we can install it, and also we can use PowerShell, which is also a Microsoft product, and also we can use Azure SDKs, software development kits, that can be used with other languages for integration like Java or Node or Express. So these are the four ways to interact with Azure. We can use any of these to build resources on cloud, on Azure. So the most frequent is definitely Azure Portal. We have Azure CLI, PowerShell, and SDKs. So guys, I have already opened the portal of Azure for you, and the link is portal.azure.com. We can use this URL to see how an Azure portal looks like. So that's how it looks like. And by the way, if you want to sign up for a free account, we can see there is a link, create your Azure free account or pay as you go. So I will click on it and it will redirect me try Azure for free page. And if I click on this Azure, try Azure for free, after all, we are going to try it for free. So I can use any other account and I can click on create one. Okay. No account. For instance, if I am new to it, though I have one account, and I can click on create account. And from there, we need an Outlook email address or live email address, abc@live.com or abc@outlook.com. For instance, if I write devopsmolvi 123 at outlook.com, and if I click on next, I can set my password here. For instance, if I set any random password, I'm doing this just for you guys since I have one already and it is running for me. So I will click on next, and after that I will solve this puzzle, and it is saying that okay. Oh, yes, I will submit. It is a success, and now I will be redirected to create an account on Azure. So, by the way, before we proceed, I just want to let you know that you need an email address, you need a password, you have to verify your email address, and for billing, you need a credit card. Okay. And if you are from Pakistan, then you can use SadaPay or NayaPay to use those cards to sign up on Azure. And if you are from India, you can use any fintech card, okay? That is actually a virtual debit card from MasterCard or Visa. You can use those cards to sign up on Azure as well, because it is important. We have to use credit card since Azure initiates a test transaction of $1. So you must have around 300, 400 rupees in Pakistan, or one equivalent amount of dollar in your Indian account. After that, you can see I have to fulfill all these requirements: my country, first name, middle name, last name, and your email address. This is important. And my phone. And phone is required because you are going to be verified, right? You are going to get a text or a call with a code that is for a security. And after that, just give the address. And once you give the address, you have to check all these boxes. The final process would be identity verification by card. You have to give your card number, CVC, and its expiry. And once your email is verified, you can sign up on Azure. So once you are signed up, you can run portal.azure.com to use Azure account, and it's free tier. Since I have already used the free tier, now the subscription that I have is pay as you go. So guys, this is how Microsoft Azure Portal looks like. You can search any service from here. For instance, if I search virtual machines, and I can immediately go to that specific service. So the navigation is really simple and straightforward. And from here, I can create Azure virtual machine. I will click on it. So you can see that user interface. To be honest, I just love it. Now, if I want to create a virtual machine, I have to give the specifications, though we are going to cover it in detail in our compute services. I just want to let you know that that's how we can create resources on Azure. So we can also navigate from here. Like if I want to go to storage accounts, I can navigate from my favorites, since these are the most frequently used services. So these are given under favorites. After that, guys, if you want to see all the services, then I have this all services option here. I have clicked on it, and now we can see hundreds of Azure services. You can see these are AI plus machine learning services. If you are going to use these services, you can use any of these, and they are categorized under AI plus machine learning. And after that, analytics. So the services as Azure DevOps, we are going to use compute services like availability sets, host groups, images, SSH keys, Azure Virtual Desktop, virtual machines. So all these services are categorized and listed under compute. So as Azure DevOps, we are going to use the compute services. Please don't get overwhelmed with the large amount of services that Azure is providing. Do I have to learn each and every service? No, because every service has its own purpose. If you are an AI engineer, then definitely you are going to use the AI services provided by Azure. If you are data or analytics engineer, then definitely it's obvious that you are going to use the data services in your job of Azure. And if you are an Azure DevOps engineer, then you are using compute services, Azure Container Services, Azure Kubernetes clusters. So now after compute, you can see I have these containers services. As Azure DevOps, I have to use these services. So from DevOps perspective, these services are important, and we are going to learn each and every service in our Azure Administrator course. So now you can see, if you want to run containers on the cloud, which service should I use? Then we have Azure containers, container instances, container registries, Kubernetes Fleet Manager, Kubernetes Service. So these are services for running containers on Azure. So after that, if you are a database administrator or a database engineer, then we have this Azure Cosmos DB, which is a platform as a service, and we have Azure Database for Postgres. So that's how Azure has categorized all its services. And that's what I love about Azure. Every service is categorized. And if you are looking for any specific service, you have to navigate to service. Like, for instance, I have given you the example of AI. So if you are looking for AI and ML services, you can easily navigate here and you will find the service of your choice. Like me, if I am a DevOps, I am looking for like virtual machine images. I can click on it. I'm looking for virtual machines. I can simply click and create virtual machines. So this navigation is really awesome and I love it. Honestly, I love it. So now, as Azure architects, as Azure DevOps architect, we have a dedicated section for DevOps services on Azure as well. Now you can see every DevOps related service is listed here, like GitHub. It is integrated with GitHub. And also we have app configuration. We have Azure Lab Services. We have Azure Network Connections, Elasticsearch. So all these DevOps tools are used in Azure DevOps category. And if you are looking for general services, we have like subscriptions, resource groups, and we have management groups. So these services are categorized under general. And if you are looking for identity, yes, that's what I was looking for. IAM, Identity and Access Management, for security, for account creation, all right, for rules, policies, we have identity services under identity. So each category has the number of services mentioned, like identity has 18 services, integration has 16 services. So this is how every service is categorized, and there are a number of services. If you are looking for Azure networking career, then I would recommend that you must know all the networking services of Azure Network Engineer. So there are DNS zones, IP prefixes, bastions, net gateway. By the way, as a DevOps engineer, we also interact with networking services as well. And if like express routes, we are going to discuss it in our upcoming lecture. What is express route? What is a virtual network in Azure? So, and finally, the security services. So that's how, guys, we can see all the services under one umbrella, under one roof. And there are approximately more than 200 services provided by Azure. So I have to go here, these three lines, and I can go to all services and I can find the service that I'm looking for. But more easy way is to just search here, like security, okay? Or if I want to search for virtual network, I can search virtual networks and then I would be redirected to that service. So that's how I can create virtual network. So the navigation is pretty simple and pretty awesome. Also, if I want to create a custom dashboard of my own, you can see I have created this just to know about my resources, just to have a general overview of my resources. I can create a custom dashboard of my own on Azure dashboard. So, and we have this plus sign to create a resource, and we can use what type of resource I want to create. And finally, guys, if I want to create a resource, then I will click on this as well, create a resource, and all the categories are listed here as well. For instance, if I go to compute and I want to create a virtual machine. For instance, if I go to identity and I can move to uh, Microsoft intra domain services. So that's how we can use these categories to create services, to create resources. That's it, guys, for today's lecture. We just saw how Azure Portal looks like. We are going to extensively work on Azure Portal in our Azure Administrator Associate course. Since it is Azure Fundamentals, so we have the only basics that we need to cover, that we need to learn. In case of any issues, feel free to ask me. I will see you in the next chapter of Azure Compute Services. We are going to deep dive in Azure Compute Services. Make sure to subscribe DevOps Molvi. I will see you in the next chapter. Have a good one. Bye.